Morning, everyone. Philosophy Corner with Carpo. Early morning edition. Got my coffee. Got my nicotine. Got my philosophy paper. Yesterday, while I was doing the day, I had all these lectures and stuff going in the background and thoughts in my head and ideas that I wanted to share, but since I don't have a computer and I can't upload videos and I don't really have very much time, I just write them down on paper and file them away in my book. And if something occurs to me, then later I make a video about it, maybe. This little paper here actually is not very organized, so I'm not going to sit here and try to make this a structured video. My first thing I wrote down was the emotional state is the responsive state. It's affected by our senses and our subconscious. So being in control of our sense of awareness, loud, sound, smell, invoked memory. Okay, now I remember. I'm glad I wrote that one down. How this occurred to me was yesterday. I was out talking to a friend and I heard a loud sound. It sounded like my son crying. I looked in and he was just watching a show, and must have been maybe on a TV show or whatever the background. Point was, you hear a baby cry. Now that sound is designed to, well, there has been some study done on this. Apparently they think that the sound of a baby crying, the reason why screeching sounds and things like that are so really get us is because it sounds like a baby crying, and because the sound of a baby crying is something we inherently know is something we need to take care of, let's say. But anyway, it put me in a sense of like, whoa, kind of urgency for a moment, even though there was nothing actually happening. And at that point I started to realize how the emotional states, or the responsive states, how the subconscious affects us. When we hear a noise in the background or something, that can affect how we feel. We could be totally relaxed and then hear like a baby cry or a loud sound, and it can just put us into a panic, fight or flight state instantly. Well, think about how this works with smell too. Smell is the most invoking emotion. You smell, casserole or a certain type of cookie when you're walking around, and it brings back a specific memory of a time in your life, therefore invoking emotions. Or taste, smell or taste. Now, I think using understanding, of course there's feel too. I imagine you could feel the texture of something that would bring back memories, but my point here is to say that all your senses can be affected by external stimuli, which can cause you to go into a state of mind that you don't even realize you're in. The whole point here that I'm trying to make is to be aware of our emotions, to be aware of ourselves, to be aware of where we're at, so we know when our subconscious is trying to take over. It's kind of like when you're having a conversation with somebody and maybe they're pushing your buttons, you don't even realize it because they're saying things that deep down inside make you feel angry. So these are words that are making you subconsciously angry, therefore you're consciously presenting that as defensiveness, perhaps, or frustration. I think the most important thing we can do is to be aware of our senses, to pay attention. It's so funny how smell can invoke such an important memory from our youth. I guess it was just that sounds, realizing that sounds can do the same thing. Just something I guess I wanted to talk about. I'll just leave it at that. Try to make it a shorter video, because I got some other things to talk about and I'm going to have to do it on a different video. Talk to you later.